who's in here. Whilst I sort this out. But yes, cinematography. Go over some cinema. It's kind of a weird one because when I was like writing it, and even I put out an email going, "Oh yeah, no, I'm going to talk about cinematic lighting." Like whenever you say the word cinematic, it's just lost all meaning now, right? It's like Instagrammers kind of killed its power a little bit. Like, oh yeah, cinematic lighting or cinematic presets. I see a lot of that cinematic Lightroom presets. I mean, come on, like really, all you've done is just lifted the black point by about 2 stops and added some noise. So maybe orange and blue overtones, but yeah, like talking about cinematic lighting is kind of a weird one. Lost its power, like we always used to say, "Oh, that's awesome," or it loses its power after a while. But yeah, so we will be talking specifically about some of the cinematic lighting styles, talking about a couple of films, one of them in particular, which is the reason that sparked this topic, which I'll get into in a minute, and we'll just go over like the opening slides of my cinematic studio lighting PDF workbook. It's a bit of a monster one, so we'll only go over like the first few pages, but it's a good opportunity to talk about some ideas. Also wanted to jump in to Satellite 3D, which is basically a lighting software, like 3D lighting software, and sort of like show you some of the things that I'm hopefully trying to explain when we get into it. So if the stream's lagging, I apologize a little bit, but that software does kind of take a lot of the bandwidth, so I'm going to try and cover that as soon as possible so I can maybe close it. That would maybe help. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, good to see you again, Jamie. It's been a long time. Miriam, how you doing, Miriam? Lovely to have a lady in the stream, keeping everybody in check. Good to see you again. Gonquala, are you new, Gonquala? I've absolutely nailed that name. I obviously got it first try. But yeah, good to see you. And Chris, good to see you, mate. Luca, Ian, good to see you again, Ian. Yeah, and David's here. Hey, slow day, David. Good to see you though, mate. Normally you're busy, which is good. So hopefully you being here is also good for you, and you're not, shoot hasn't cancelled again. But yeah, good to see you in here. And of course, welcome to my YouTube people tuning into the VoD. Appreciate it. Obviously you had something better to do that you couldn't join us here tonight, but I mean, it's cool. That's cool. I understand. I mean, I don't, but welcome anyway. So yeah, if you're tuning in via the YouTube VoD, like, I totally get it. Not everybody can stomach the meta universe. I've got to be careful here because we did a stream before, and people even mentioned the word, FACBOOK or even META, and it just instantly got deleted from the chat log. I didn't even see it as the stream owner. Like, I didn't even pop up. It was literally deleted server side, and I think all they were doing wasn't even saying anything negative. So heavily censored stream incoming, and so I totally get why those of you watching on YouTube are avoiding it over here. I get it, but I got to go where the people are, and where the notifications are. That's the reality of it, because it's like Twitch is an option as well. But yeah, I think I'm not saying I'm the oldest person here, but a lot of people don't have Twitch. YSA doing. Gonquala says, yes, I'm new, originally Portuguese, based in London. Lovely photography. Thank you, I appreciate that, and thank you for tuning in tonight. Yeah. Do you still have availability for your weekend workshop? Gonquala, that is a great question. We may as well get that out of the way now. So, although it was nearly full, we had yet another train strike, right? So, with a workshop based in London, it was really difficult to kind of get people to go in, because like people living in London obviously use public transport, and people coming outside, like nobody's driving into London. So we had people, understandably so, getting in touch and asking or telling us, look, I can't make it, a refund and that sort of thing. Now, I wasn't dealing with any of that. That was to do with Rotolite. So it was Rotolite's decision, sadly, to pull it at the last minute again because of the train strikes. And this is the reason why the original date was pulled. I think we could have gotten away with it if we were outside of London, because people would just drive, but nobody's driving into London. It would just cost you an arm and a leg. So yeah, I think it's, plus it just costs so much to run it in London as well. I mean, like, again, that's nothing to do with me, that's all Rotalite, but I'm gonna try and recommend they do it just outside of London, because like 40 minutes outside of London on a train is not too bad, right? But yeah, not too bad. Anyway, yeah, long story short, it's not happening. Sad as I am, because, you know, I was getting paid for it, so I was, you know, looking forward to it. Beautiful studio in London as well. We had three models lined up, but yeah, sadly, it's been postponed. Which I think they're going to look to do it again in the next couple of months. But yeah, train strikes in this country, Jesus Christ. Yeah. You're old and you've got Twitch. I've got Twitch as well. I watch a lot of Twitch late at night, hanging out. But yeah, that's the thing. Notifications, right? I mean, I could stream on Twitch and people would probably go there, maybe, but it's just notifications, right? Plus, who wants all the young gamer nerds in there using gamer words? Good idea being outside. Yeah, it is. I think doing it outside, which is what we've done them before, right? Never had any problems with the workshops before. They've always sold out in the past, and we did them in High Wycombe. So it's like literally 40 minutes outside. So it's not that much of a big deal. Yeah. So yeah, anybody new here? What we're doing today is do a live stream. Do these every couple of weeks, and they originally just started out as like feedback, right? People posting their images, and then me kind of giving feedback on those, and then it just kind of grew a little bit from there. They got a little bit longer, and we would normally chat about something / rant about something, and yeah, it just kind of grew from that, really. So today we're going to be talking about a topic, and then after that we'll go through people's images. So let me just scooch over here. Let's see. Let's have a look so you guys can see. So yeah, so if you scroll back to last night's image on my page, which is this one here, right? This is the share a shoot post that I do every Monday, and if you want, just pop your images in the comment section of that. Mikey's sharing videos in there. Interesting. Have a look at that. Hopefully safe for work. Yeah, so post your images in there. If you haven't done so, then by all, and you want to, by all means, please do scroll back to last night's post, pop the image in the comments, and we will take a look. And you know, some of these give some feedback on lighting, and that sort of is usually the way it goes. Maybe pull a couple of images into Photoshop. We've got time, you know, shifting the colors around, having a bit of a play like that. But yeah, that's really what we're going to do. Okay. All right then. So so the topic for tonight, I kind of wanted to just have a chat about cinematic lighting and what that really means, and how we can kind of look at that or get some ideas from that. You know, is it really any different, right? I think most of us here shoot, you know, like we shoot portraits of people and that sort of thing. I'm just gonna pause that music. Yeah, like we shoot portraits, right? Most of us here shooting portraits. Like all the images that I'm seeing in chat here are all going to be pretty much of portraits. So, you know, cinema for the most part is of people, you know, lighting and that sort of thing. So it's kind of like similar to what we do, right? Now you'd think that, but it's actually really different the way that they approach a lot of their lighting compared to the way that we approach our lighting. One of the reasons for that is because, you know, we're really focused on the subject, whereas cinema is really focused on the scene and allowing like the subject to kind of exist in that scene, right? So here's probably a good time. We just open up my PDF of like workshop notes here that I definitely was organized beforehand. Cinematic lighting workbook, final PDF. We don't need to open up the monster one there. Let's have a look. Okay. So yeah, so we're just going to go through. This is the workbook that this is 61 pages. This bad boy. So you know, we go through just tons and tons of bits and pieces in there. So there's loads in there. We're just going to go through the first kind of few pages here and talk about that. But yeah, if anybody's interested, this is my cinematic studio lighting workshop, which I literally did recently online with somebody via a one-to-one, and we kind of chatting about it. And you know, I thought, you know, maybe this is something I could chat about on stream as well. But you know, like, we cover a huge amount in this workshop, and this book, 61-page book, you know, kind of goes into details on all of it as well. So yeah, like, we start off with what is cinematic lighting, and like, maybe this means something different for each of us, but you know, really for me, it's what I was talking about there is not just about lighting the subject. It's really about lighting the scene, and then you know, if you lit that scene well enough, your characters should be able to kind of exist in that scene and be lit well within it, right? Now, I think most of us, we just like focus on the subject, and then the background is kind of like second fiddle, right? It's just, oh yeah, put some light back there. Sometimes we don't even put any light back there, you know, but we're thinking about that background and that sort of thing. How can we light our entire scene, and how can we light large areas? Because for the most part, with a lot of our portrait lighting, we're talking about a key light, fill light, hair light. Now, break that down, that is like smaller areas, right? So key light being like the top half of the face, or you know, the top half of the body, shadows underneath, that sort of thing, and then the fill light is coming from below, right? So you know, we've already sectioned off the body. You know, hair light, okay, maybe we've got another section here with the hair light, you know, left and right hair light, you know, these are all sections. Where cinematic lighting is really about trying to create, you know, far larger washes of light to, you know, to light far larger areas. Now, when I was doing my research on this years ago, it was actually fascinating, because so many of the techniques that they use in cinema, none of us portrait photographers use. Like, not even a little bit. Not like, oh, it's a modified version of, no, not even close to it. Okay. And you know, some of the reasons for that is what I've kind of just spoken about there. Like, we're looking for, you know, pools of light, key, fill, hair, like we're looking for, you know, section light, whereas cinema is more about trying to make it a little bit more natural, a bit more realistic, right? So having this wash of light. Now, don't get me wrong, they can get very creative with that, and they can have fill lights and accent lights and all that sort of stuff as well, but it's a little bit more subtle, right? Because we're not trying to kick the viewer out of the scene, whereas cinema is about, you know, keeping somebody engaged in that scene. So cinematic lighting is very, very different in that regard. In that it's trying to you know, coat an entire area, and you know, we can certainly learn from that, and there's loads of cinematic lighting techniques that I've kind of looked at and taken and brought across into my own work, and kind of adopted for, you know, what we're doing, which may be, for example, you know, photographing one person as opposed to, you know, several people in a scene. Maybe we're working in a smaller set, right, like a home studio and that sort of thing. How can we kind of take a lot of those environmental lighting techniques and incorporate them into our own work? And what are we really looking for with that, right? You know, how different is cinematic lighting? So here, like, to start here, I'm just going to go through like 3 of these that are, in my opinion, very, very different. But you know, I would love for you guys to shout out in chat some of the, you know, cinematographers or even films that you love the lighting of. If, you know, if you've got a link to a trailer or something like that, then that is certainly extra points indeed. So yeah, you know, just share the film that, like, lighting wise, that you like, wow, because it's kind of different, right? Because there's certainly films that I love that lighting is just average, and that's fine, and vice versa. So yeah, you know, I'd love to see what you guys are doing. Like Wes Anderson at the moment, right? We've seen a trend with that Wes Anderson look as well, because you know, we've spoken about this, you know, before on the stream, talking about this softer pastel washes of color. And Wes Anderson does that really, really well. Very, very difficult to do in such a beautiful way that he does, but we're seeing that kind of trend as well. So like counter to that, then something that's like totally the opposite to that is somebody like David Fincher. Now, David Fincher is a director, and we get a little bit hazy as to, well, what about the director of photography? Surely he did the lighting here, not David Fincher. He's just the director. And yes, I agree. There is a certain tone there that you need to take into account, that the fact that the lighting director or DOP is maybe have more of an input on some films than others. The reason I've put David Fincher here as kind of like the overarching look here is because a lot of his films will have that look, regardless of who the DOP is. And David Fincher is a phenomenal director at sculpting light out of shadow. So, you know, if we look at, this is almost like the Kurosawa kind of approach that he takes to lighting, where we have this light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. So this kind of checkerboard approach to lighting, and he carves his subjects out of a scene using that very harsh light, dark, light, dark. And Seven is, surely there's no way that you guys haven't seen Seven. I mean, like, if you haven't, please, you have to see it just for the lighting alone. Now, granted, it is, you know, slash, a bit of a scary film in the fact that they're chasing a serial killer, but like in terms of the lighting, what David Fincher does in all of his films, and whether that be, you know, like The Social Network or Fight Club over here as well, you know, a lot of his films will have this incredibly sculpted light, and he generates layers and depth in his shots, not just by, you know, shooting on f1.2, right? He does it through light, which is actually very, very, very difficult to do. And this beautiful example of, you know, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark that he does is just absolutely spot on. Gorgeous, gorgeous lighting. And again, like I said, harder to do than you may think. You guys can't see because my camera's in the way. I'll just scooch it over here. Let's have a look. Just check on that. Let's check out. Let's see. Just catch up before we carry on. So Jamie says, yeah, to me, it's as you say, like in this scene, it's a combination of the subject and the environment complementing each other, but not interrupting and distracting unless it serves a narrative. Yeah, it went off on one. No. I agree. It is because, like I said, like us as portrait shooters, we're really about carving out the subject, really knocking them out of the scene, like making them, you know, pop from the scene. Whereas I think cinema is kind of not doing that; it's bedding them into the scene. So, you know, as much of that environmental lighting, you know, lighting all the different layers behind them has to be taken into account. So it's a very slow process. Yeah. So Jimmy says, I'm on my phone, don't want to jump out, but the Nicolas Cage movie Mandy just freaks me out how beautiful it is. Really? Okay. All right. Okay, Jimmy. Yeah. Okay. Do you know what? I have not seen that. Yeah, I've not seen that. I don't think I have. Yeah. Maybe we did. Hey, Vlad, how you doing, man? Enjoy the rain. So the reason I popped this out here was, you know, like we've got this shot up here from Fight Club. We got Brad Pitt here, and we got Edward Norton back there. But look at, you know, what we're doing here with not only the light and dark, but also the colors, right? So both Brad and Ed here are lit, you know, with kind of white light, and we have this very, very harsh, you know, highlight sculpting out from the background on both sides, right? And that shadow in the middle, like that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Had we not had this highlight here, that would be an issue. But because we have this highlight here, it's absolutely fine. And then Ed back here is carved out completely because, you know, what they've done is they've lit that entire wall yellow, right? So what they do is a very clever thing with color here is that the subjects will normally be, you know, white light, and then the backgrounds will be subtle versions of, you know, yellow hues and bluish hues, especially because a lot of David's films are almost always goes to be shot at night. You think about Seven, right? I mean, I don't. There's like any scene that's shot in the day, it's heavy rain. I mean, really heavy rain. So, yeah, if you are interested in contrasty lighting, or I don't think we've got any people who, you know, love black and white here, but if you did like black and white, you know, David Fincher's films could look beautiful even in black and white because of how sculpted the lighting is in a lot of his films. And Seven is just a phenomenal example of that as well. He even does a lot of it in Alien 3 as well, because that's again like this horror mystique. This is one of the earliest films that he ever did, but you can still see that kind of vibe where it's a lot of backlit silhouette stuff, edge lit stuff, which again is kind of indicative of cinematic lighting, because it's very, very rare that, unless you're watching a comedy, that light, that the subjects are being lit from the front head on, right? We never want to light them from the viewer, which is us, right? We want to be looking in on that world. So that's another major distinction between what we do as portrait shooters is we usually lighting, just bang on from the front, whereas like cinematography is we're just a viewer looking in on a scene, and lighting will be coming from the sides, okay? Predominantly this is a technique called upstage lighting that they use. Now Roger Deakins, obviously an absolute classic, he's been doing it forever, worked on some of the biggest films of all time, done some phenomenal things with lighting. So I'd certainly be doing everybody a disservice if I didn't mention Roger Deakins. But Deakins takes a little bit of a different approach to his kind of lighting, because he's looking at more of this wash of color. So he's not so heavy on the contrast as somebody like Fincher is. And he uses a certain variety of techniques to achieve this, but this wrapping of light that we see all the time is indicative in all of his films. Now, that's not to say that that's easy, because soft light is easy, but what he's doing is he's being very, very delicate with his shadows. So sure, we'll have this highlight here, and we'll have more of a delicate shadow here, but there will be data in those shadows, even like down here and stuff. This is that upstage lighting that I'm talking about, which means you're being lit from behind, which is what's going on here. Like, to us, it looks like he's being lit from these windows. I'm sure he's actually being lit from actual lights as well, but those lights are upstage. It comes from theatre, being like behind the subject, so upstage of the actual subject itself. So again, a lot of upstage lights rather than being lit from the front, which is what we do. So this is one thing that a lot of photographers make, that just real simple but obvious mistake when they're trying to do like a cinematic look, and they'll just whack a key light in there like you would normally do for a regular portrait. It's just immediately not going to give you that cinematic look. Yeah. So we want to be thinking about having that light, behind the subject, and then having them looking towards that light. Now, why does that work? The reason that works is because in cinema nobody looks to the camera, right? That's the biggest secret to figuring out cinematic lighting and how to light the subject, is because the subject never looks at the camera. Now, us at portraits usually we'll be looking, towards the camera, nose to the camera at the very least, eyes to the camera, that sort of thing. So that means that our lighting has to be within that region, coming onto them like that. But because nobody looks to camera in cinema, the lighting has to be, off to the side, which is like, this lighting would be terrible if he looks to camera, right? This lighting would be terrible if he looks to camera, right? Or she looks to camera. So, a lot of this lighting is all geared up to that, like I said, upstage lighting, and then the subject's looking off camera. So going back to Deakins' work here, just these washes of color and light, beautifully done. A lot of data in the shadows in a lot of his work. That's not always the case, but for a lot of it, he plays a lot with shadow detail, unless he's doing something for artistic merit, like we got here, like the silhouettes. He usually goes from one to the other. And what is it, like the World War I film that he does in one take? Was it 1914 or whatever it is? Like you have some silhouette moments in there, and that's for creative impact and that sort of thing. But again, like the contrast of these, awesome. But again, washes of color and tone, like just beautiful swathes of color, and the way that he gets this light, using huge areas of illumination to get these beautiful soft wraps of light. Okay, and that's kind of what I've been experimenting with recently as well. And this is kind of a knock-on from that, right? This is always like this, and I'll explain how I did this later on. But how can we get large areas of illumination to get light to actually bounce off our subjects and make it look soft and wrap around? Yeah. So Jimmy says, yeah, Darius Konji used a bleach bypass process on the film 7. Okay, I will look into that. I was not aware of the bleach process. I know, is it Tony Scott? So Ridley Scott's brother. He did like a cross process elements for a lot of his films as well. Beautiful. Like there's some really grungy bits in Man on Fire, and especially in Domino. Like there's this whole like scene where I think they're on like mescaline or something like that, and it's just cross processed. And I think he even admits later on that we messed it up. We just kind of went with it. Like it works. Don't get me wrong, it works. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Jamie. In that it's not even just about the lighting. It's if they're shooting on film, they have that ability to give it even that that grittier or more of a nuanced look with the process as well. David says, "Lol, I always have to tell my model don't look at the camera, and they look at me like I have 3 heads." Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so those of you that don't know David's work there, David Webb there, in chat, like he's going for that more of a cinematic look, I would say, in some of his shots with the lighting and that sort of thing. Sure, some of it's sexy, but he's trying to do it in a cinematic way. So it kind of makes sense for him and his work, like, again, to not have the models look into the camera, because as soon as the models look to the camera and they're sat there in their bra and knickers, like it's just instantly glamour, right? But if they're looking away a little bit, like it feels a bit more wistful, and it's definitely a bit more arty rather than them looking at you. As soon as they look to you, it's glamour. Right? It's Playboy. So and there's room for both, but yeah, like David's saying there, it's about knowing what you want and then getting them to do it. Yeah. So Jim says, if you look at the movie Three Kings, oh, nice, yeah. Thomas Seagull used 3 different film stocks. One was slide and one was cross-processed. Yeah, so it's been a long time since I've cross-processed slide film, and we were rarely allowed to do it because you had to change like it would just basically ruin the chemicals in the machine. So obviously sometimes it happened by mistake, and sometimes you put the wrong film through the wrong process, and it happens, but yeah, it is a very cool look, beautiful look, and really unique. I think it's even more unique now because nobody does it anymore, right? And I think that it would be very difficult to replicate post-pro digital wise because it would just look dumb. But yeah, it's definitely a cool technique. So yeah, Roger Deakins, absolute master. I'm sure you've all seen his films. Now Christopher Doyle is coming at it again from a different angle, and the reason I've chosen these ones here, I'm covering these ones because they're very, very different, right? We've got Fincher here, which is very edge lit, moody, contrasty. Just a lot of heavy shadow, which you don't really see as much anymore. You've got Deakins going kind of the opposite, right? Like no heavy shadow really, unless you're doing something artistic. But yeah, washes of color, real soft. A lot of data in the blacks and that sort of thing. Again, both unique skills in their own right. And something like Christopher Doyle, I think he's a cinematographer from Australia or something. I could be wrong, but he's worked on some incredible movies. Like if you haven't seen In the Mood for Love, just beautiful, just incredible. I mean, you could watch that with the sound down and you'd still be in tears, It's nuts, absolutely beautiful. And the reason I'm bringing up, Christopher Doyle's work here is because his approach is a little bit more organic, a little bit closer to what we would do as portrait shooters, right? What we would do is we would kind of position ourselves so that we're in the scene, so that the person looking at the image feels like they're part of the scene. And what Christopher Doyle is doing for a lot of the times, that's what he's doing. He's giving us as the viewer more of a voyeuristic look, right? So he's usually positioning ourselves like at their eye level, and he'll be positioning themselves like looking into the scene. So we have like foreground elements, a lot of foreground elements in a lot of his shots. So we're looking through, we got shrubs and stuff here, and looking through doorways, again, like windows and stuff here. We've got, I think, like the headrest of a car and that sort of thing. Like he's adding that depth, but he's adding that intimacy by us feeling like we're sat there in the scene with them. So we're definitely having that voyeuristic look. And again, thinking about where where the camera is. It's going to be at our eye level so that we're in there as well. And then he's doing a lot of his beautiful work with colors, beautiful color work, layering the color work. You know, we got the greens and blues and stuff here, the oranges, the reds, and some of this like heavy green and yellow is difficult to pull off. It is very, very difficult to pull off. And I'm not a huge fan of it, but I've done it a couple of times, and it'll divide the crowd. I've got I've had people actively say I hate these colors and that sort of stuff. Like, it's difficult to do, but it's a great test to kind of play with it if you can do, working with these rich yellows and rich greens like this. You kind of see it again with I think maybe Domino and Tony Scott does it. It's very, very rich, kind of like those fluorescent tubes, right? We used to play a lot with those back at art college. We'd use fluorescent tubes as our light sources, and they give this phosphorus kind of greeny yellow color, which you think would be awful, but it's not. It's kind of cool. Now, obviously, the Matrix kind of went all in on that with the green, but that's more of a softer green than what Christopher Doyle is doing, because he's doing it with this contrast. There's this rich contrast which gives us this stronger color. Remember, I've spoken about this before, but light and color is inherently locked to contrast to a certain extent. So what I mean by that is, whenever you increase the contrast, you simultaneously increase the saturation. There's no real getting away from that. You can do it in Photoshop now. You just go in there and you increase the contrast of an image, and boom, you've got more color in that shot as well. So using contrasty lighting like this, a lot of hard directional light is going to give you these rich colors as well. So Christopher is just beautiful work, and again, if you haven't seen any of his stuff, check out in the Mood for Love. Absolutely nuts. Beautiful imagery, just incredible. And we all moan about working in small spaces, right? The Mood for Love is working in some very tight confines. I think it's shot there in Hong Kong or wherever it is, and definitely shot in some like tight confines, like here in like this tiny office and that sort of stuff. You must just have light stuck to everything, just to carve out these little pools of light everywhere. Absolutely beautiful work. And again, he is adding that element of depth, and he's not afraid to put something like right in front of the lens, whether it be like a headrest or a plant or a window, shooting through elements in the actual landscape or surroundings and that sort of stuff, so that we really feel like we're voyeuristic in that. And again, that's something that we can use to our advantage. Is right. Do we want to have that that kind of element where we're peeking in on something just to give it a little bit more intimacy? So yeah, beautiful work from Christopher Doyle there, specifically color as well. Okay. Now we got, like I said, we got another 50 odd pages of ideas and techniques and that sort of thing. So by all means, if you're interested and you wanted to do that workshop with me, then please, I would love to. You can check it out here. Pop that in chat. But yeah, so check out the cinematic lighting workshop there, and we can go through it all in more detail there. But let's just check what we're doing on the comments. All good. Okay, so yeah, so we've got that. Those are examples there of just 3 looks that you can look at. Christopher Doyle, Roger Deakins, obviously, and David Fincher. Very, very different looks, but all kind of approaching it to achieve something that they're after. And I think that we can do that as well. We just have to have a little bit more forethought as to, do we want it to be voyeuristic? Do we want it to be glamour? Do we want it to be cinematic, or have that impact of a scene? Now, one of the reasons I was kind of looking at doing this chat here tonight was because of a film that I saw a while back, the Batman film, right? I'm just going to mute that so we don't get copyright. But like, if you haven't seen the Batman with Robert Pattinson, then like you got it. I'll be honest. I hate superhero movies. hate them. Right, haven't got any time for them. I think they're saccharine and overdone, just trite. I haven't got any time for them. This is not a superhero movie. Okay, this is an incredible film that just deserves all the praise it gets, and not least of which to do with the lighting. Now, it doesn't take a genius to understand that a lot of the Batman movies are set in a very, very dark environment. He never comes out during the day. Batman's always comes out at night. All that sort of stuff. So it is a difficult movie to light. Right? How do you light something at night? And not only that, but Batman wears this jet black suit the entire time. In fact, it nearly covers all of his face. Right? And even the daytime shots that we see are barely even daytime. Right? So some of the lighting in here is outstanding. On top of that, they actually do some gorgeous stuff with lenses and that sort of thing. So you need to look into it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but what they did originally was to have these lenses with this just really egregious chromatic aberration towards the edges. Now, we don't really notice that as much because we're focused in on the middle, and that's what these heavy chromatic aberration and even distortions towards the outside of these lenses do. So you can see it there. Even that's real close to the middle. So you can see it's like sharp here, and then even the suit and the light here, which is nowhere near the edge of frame, is already starting to distort and that sort of thing. And that really helps to like to have the viewer hyper focused. And again, I bring this up because we're seeing a lot of cinema going more this way, going more organic. Okay, now I'm going to bring it up, so let's just rip the bandage off. Okay, there are certain camera manufacturers out there that are going the opposite way. They're going like hyper crisp, hyper sharp and seamless, just edge to edge sharpness and that sort of stuff, because it's easy to sell, right? When we talk about, or when we imagine, I'm laughing because David's put antique lenses in chat, which I'll get into in a minute because he's not wrong. But when we're like the megapixel wars or whatever it was of the late 2000s, it was just like more megapixels, better camera. It's an easy sell. It was an easy sell. Like every year more megapixels came out on your camera, and it's an easy sell. Now for to a certain extent, lenses are kind of like that as well. You can go sharpest lens, edge to edge, no distortion, all that sort of stuff. That sort of stuff. It's an easy sell, right? Now, years ago, we did see Sigma bring out their art series, okay, which was bold. And I say it's bold because they kind of went a little bit against the grain with it. And full power to them, because those art lenses, I don't know, I'm sure somebody in chat must have some Sigma art lenses, because what they did were absolutely incredible. Gorgeous, gorgeous lenses. And we're kind of seeing this shift away from the, like a little bit more anti-clinical than we've kind of seen in the past. Now, a few years ago, I did a gig for Panavision, right? So like, doesn't get any bigger than Panavision, right? That's like the big boys. I went down to the head office there, I think like the European head office at least. Yeah. Anyway, major site there in just outside of London. And long story short, I was super fortunate enough to be chatting to the MD there, and he took me on a tour. He was actually aware of my work and that sort of thing. It's like super by chance. He was aware of my work, and he was like, let's have a walk around. Let me show you the place and that sort of thing. So incredibly fortunate. I got to go around this Panavision and see what they were doing there. It was nuts. Now, he was talking about the lenses, and what he was saying was that, so back then we said, look, we just had Star Wars in it. So they're at Panavision. They had their own cinema on site. And what they do is they get directors to come down, DOPs, that sort of stuff, and they would come down and they would tweak the lenses to get the look that they're after. So this is Star Wars we're talking about. Star Wars came down and they were testing the Panavision lenses. Now, there's a reason why Panavision lenses are so highly sought after. And if you watch any number of films, at the end, you'll see the Panavision logo, Panavision lenses. They are used all the time. Now, David's kind of made a bit of a joke there about the antique lenses, but Panavision lenses are, there's no other real way of calling them. I mean, they are antiques, right? Some of them are very, very old, and some of the reasons why people love those lenses is because they're lead coated. Now, it's illegal to sell anything with lead coating on it now, but it's not illegal to hire them, right? So people are renting these Panavision lenses with this lead coating on them. Now, what's actually happening when you use those lead coated lenses is that in some of the highlights and some of the very, very minute chromatic aberrations that you'll see this kind of rainbow effect in the highlights. Now, that is a beautiful look. Now, that's closer to what our eyeballs are seeing, right? These, look, somebody's brought it up here. Jamie's brought it up. Sony lenses, right, are very, very sharp, but they're sharper than our eyesight, right? So when we see these images, like, it's very clinical, right? Our eyes don't, like, I mean, look, maybe your eyes are amazing, but for the most part, we're going to have halation, and we're going to have like kind of like rainbowing in the highlights and that stuff, kind of more of an organic look. Now, you know, Star Wars were down there and they're testing out these lenses, and what this guy was saying, Panavision guy, Jeff, I think his name was saying, you know, they were going in and tweaking the individual elements of these lenses, right? So they're going in there and dialing in different. Oh yeah, you know. So they would sit down, watch a section of the movie, you know, shoot on the lens, watch a section, and go, yeah, we want it softer in the edges, bring it in 10 degrees. Okay, I'll go back, shoot some more. And okay, we want more chromatic aberration. You know, so then again, they would shift the elements to get more of a more of this kind of distortion in the lens and that sort of stuff. Now, this is crazy to me, like, because Star Wars is being, you know, heralded as sci-fi in the future. Look, everything's, half the movie is CGI anyway, and then they're also trying to just knock it back, right? They're desperately trying to knock the quality out of it by, you know, using these 50, 60-year-old lenses that have got old lead coatings on them, and they're in there with screwdrivers knocking the elements out of alignment to get this look, right? And we're starting to see kind of more and more of that coming. You know, Batman is a great example of that, where it really just keeps us focused exactly where we need to be by having these softer edges. I mean, I don't know how much, if there's any other elements in this, but some of it, especially like the car chase and that sort of stuff, like, was it maybe like you start to see stuff? I think there might be some bits. We've got tons of stuff on the lens, like crap on the lens, like when the car crashes and stuff at the end. I think you may see it. Like, there's tons of crap on the lens. Like, you're just looking through Vaseline. Like, you're really being drawn in. Like, what's going on? I mean, look at the halation on that. Like, look at the halation on that. Yeah. I mean, that's shot through a pair of tires. Like, this would just look terrible on a Sony. different. It would look different. Okay, so, you know, again, a lot of this stuff, and I think, you know, we get some of this, like, because there's a lot of rain and water and stuff here. Such a good scene. Yeah, so I did not even realize that was Colin Farrell. Until the credits or something. It's just completely changed him. But again, we're even like in some of the scenes as well, you actually start to see the bokeh being so egregious that you actually start to see this swirl, and you kind of get it a little bit here as the edges start to kind of, you know, draw you in, like, into this vortex. So that swirly bokeh effect, again, like, you can only get that with these older lenses. I think this was a shot on the Aries, actually, these ones. I'm not familiar with the lenses, but again, like, they were using like scuffed lenses. Yeah. So Jamie says, I've got the Sony such and such 61 megapixels, and I mess around in Photoshop adding blur and texture. So the Sony, yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, we all do that, Jamie. Yeah, you're not alone. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same as well. I mean, I add noise to my images for, you know, to stop them being compressed on Facebook and Instagram and that sort of stuff. So it's like, you're right. It is, a lot of it is overkill. Yeah. Jimmy says you're long-sighted, so you have to wear glasses all the time. David says, seeing affordable camera lenses with flaws built in to get the organic Yeah, that's true. It's true. Yeah, it is. It is weird. Yeah, it is weird. I did an article years ago. I don't think I can find it now. Maybe I could. I did an article years ago. Maybe I could find it. Oh, actually, I need to do what Vlad told me last time. It's like just use Google, Jake. It's faster than actually using your website. What are we doing here? We are looking for what? Jake Hicks photo Nikon lens. Oh yeah, there we go. Top. So this article was kind of funny because it was. I'll talk about that in a second. So. So what I did was, some of this is blurred for censorship. It's not because of the lenses. So like some of these is pretty crazy, right? So I took 3 Nikon lenses, right? So what we got, like, let's say 2010, 2000, and then 1970, right? And I took the same images on all 3 of these. Right, so this is what? This is a 50-year-old lens. This is a 50-year-old lens. Now it's manual focus, so I've actually missed focus here. It's actually on the back eye. But yeah, this is actually the kit lens that you can get for like, I think, 50 quid. That actually looks really sharp from like the 2000s. This is a kit lens. I'm actually really surprised how sharp that is. And then we've got one here. So this is the 20. This is the the newer 24-70. Now, this is very niche, right? It's a controlled environment. I'm in the studio. I haven't got any light coming into the lens or anything like that. It's it's controlled lighting. But like, for the most part, right, this is an old lens I got on eBay for like 20 quid. Like, for the most part, people aren't going to tell that that's a 50-year-old lens, right? It's like glass in lenses has been pretty damn good for a long time. Okay. And this kind of thing here was I forgot this was in the article, but this is kind of interesting. So I don't know when I shot this. So I think I shot this. I feel like, it's got to be 20 years ago. I can't remember. 2011. There you go. So in 2011, I shot this album cover, and it was shot on a Fuji S2 camera, 6 megapixels. 6 megapixels. Yeah, 6. Fuji S2, and had the lens on, and this was the image that was agreed prior. So full face. This was the image that was agreed prior to the shoot. And then after the shoot, what did the ad agency do? They cropped in to that, right? So this is an old kit lens on a 6 megapixel camera, and then the ad agency crops in to lose what? I mean, how much of the image are we losing there? I mean, like, we've got what, a fifth of the image left here? I mean, it's just nuts. So they've cropped out like 80% of the shot. and then this was blown up on ad shells and bus shelter. If you don't know, ad shells are bus shelters and that sort of thing, massive, right? So like the whole megapixel thing and the quality of lens and all that sort of stuff, it's kind of mute, right? It's just kind of mute. It's just not needed. Like, I was shitting myself when they told me they were going to do this, because us as photographers, right, we know, oh my god, it's going to be terrible. Oh my god, it's no way. It's not designed for that. It's fine. Yeah. So it's not actually as bad as you think. So Batman then. So what is this? Why is this kind of a big deal? It's kind of a big deal because what they're doing in this is they're trying to light something at night. They're trying to light something dark, and then they're trying to light a subject that's dark as well. And they're trying to do it in like an engaging way that that you can still see it. I think somebody in the comments here, I apologize, I think Chris said I had to bang up the brightness on my TV to see what's happening. So this is, yeah, and this is something that I think cinematographers, directors, and all that sort of stuff are really wary of, because you're not alone, Chris, right? I mean, everybody shit the bed about what was it, Game of Thrones, right? Everybody was like, oh my god, it's terrible, can't see it. You know, everybody's crying and moaning about it and that sort of stuff. Not everything has to be high key, right? Not everything has to look like a Gap advert. And sure, there's some middle ground. You know, come on, Jake, you're exaggerating. Sure, but like, it's okay to leave some mystery in there. Now, okay, Chris is saying that he had to up the brightness on his TV. Fine. I mean, you know, obviously they maybe missed the mark there, but from my point of view, I thought it was bang on. I thought what they did was just absolutely incredible in terms of sculpting out sections of the person and the subject and the scene, yet it being pitch black right here, right? Like, okay, granted, we have the benefit that these guys are dressed up, Halloween, whatever, and they got white faces, so like they really stick out from that, but, you know, beautiful, right? Nuts. Okay. So, and here we go. There's kind of like this whole kind of scene here is interesting. So again, great example of how to not light something but light it. You know, you've got a lot of stuff going on, the chaos and that sort of stuff, but you just light behind them and allow the shapes to do the work for you, right? Okay, again, like edge lighting something like this. Like this whole scene in the movie is nuts. So he's wet, like the whole suit is wet and that sort of thing, but it's catching these highlights. Now, very difficult to actually find any information on how this movie was shot. If you have BTS or something like that, then let me know. I'd certainly love to see it, but yeah, kind of difficult. But from my experience, I kind of had a rough idea of how they did it. This is how they did it. Okay, so this is actually I just found this before I went live like 10 minutes ago. But I think I watched it in the past. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a great little essay on the movie, but this is how they do it. So you don't light the subject necessarily. You're just lighting the reflections around the subject. So you're not really pointing the lights kind of so much at them, but you're looking at having a larger light source to wrap a specular highlight around them. Okay, so massive, just huge modifiers, or bouncing light off huge modifiers and that sort of thing to get this highlight. Because what we're seeing in Batman here is not really seeing the light; we're seeing the reflection of this light in him. That may seem like not much of a big deal, but there is a distinct difference between actually lighting a subject and then the subject seeing the light. Okay, so. Not something that I do very often because it's a pain in the ass. But if you need to photograph something like latex, PVC, and that sort of stuff, it's a similar sort of thing, right? It's jet black unless you're seeing a reflection of the light. Okay, so PVC and latex is very difficult to light well. You see some horrendous images of it, you know, like the grids from a softbox and that sort of stuff. It's just like, mate, come on. Like here again, like this one, like I said, I don't shoot too much of it, but here again, right, I'm not lighting this PVC here or latex, whatever it is, but I'm looking at the reflection of the light in this. Okay, it's like if you're lighting a mirror, you can't do it. You have to see a reflection of a light source in the mirror, and that's what this is. And this is how, you know, again, like this is a shiny copper plate here. You know, it's knowing the surface that you're going to be lighting and then adjusting the lighting around it. I know Jamie, yeah, I know Jamie. So Jamie does some great latex lighting. You know, he kind of does it with backgrounds and that sort of thing as well. But you know, again, it's far harder than people think because you just can't light it. You have to light the thing around it. Okay, now. Same thing is happening here in the Batman film, and the same thing is happening for people who need to light, you know, cars. You know, car photography is arguably some of the hardest photography to do well. Okay, and I'm not talking about, oh yeah, a nice car silhouette, or yeah, a nice bead of light. I'm talking about lighting a car properly, evenly, and completely is like very, very difficult, because you cannot light a car. It's shiny. You can only light the reflections. You can only light, you can only see the reflections of a light, which is why they bring ceilings down and bounce light into that, just have massive modifiers and that sort of thing. So hopefully the stream doesn't lag too much, but let's have a look here at an example. So let's just if we just turn this off a second, let's put a car in here. So we got this car here, and look, this is in satellite 3D software here, and like they even say 3D objects still experimental and only intended to be used as a prop. Reflections in car paint are not rendered accurately. So look, it's not going to be bang on, but it's going to give you an idea. So I'm just going to turn this orange car black, right, and we can make it shiny. So at the moment, this is the camera here. So at the moment, like let's just put this light on there. Okay, so if we try and light that car, so I'm just looking at the door handle here. Okay, if you're not aware of what's actually in shot, so I'm shining this light directly at this car door here, but it's not being illuminated, right? I mean, this car handle is, because it's grey and silver, that is bouncing light back. Black car paint does not, or reflective surfaces like a mirror does not bounce light back. Okay, so it's not about just lighting it. It's about the surface or the size of the light that is illuminating it and then looking at the reflection. Now, this is not a great example, because this software is excellent, don't get me wrong, but the way that it kind of renders lighting or banks of light is to just create lots of dots of light. Okay, that's not what's actually happening in reality. So these dots, it is not going to be that exactly, but it is showing you that to actually light something, it doesn't matter how bright it is. You could take a light meter. These two lights are the same exposure. It's not about how bright it is. It's about the size of the light being reflected in that subject. Okay, so especially with something shiny, latex, car paint, these sorts of things. This is why lighting cars is so difficult. Right, now we can do the same thing. Like here, this is just a, like a diamond. I've just got like a diamond thing here, right? And I've just made it black. Okay, and then we can again shine our light onto it. Okay, very difficult to see this, right? Okay, we've got a little bit of a glow here and that sort of thing. But again, very difficult to see this because it's black, shiny, and it doesn't have a lot of texture, right? So. But again, if we increase the size of the light source, yeah, we're able to see it. Now again, you can see this. You can see how this renders the dots. If we were doing this in real life, this would just be a pure white triangle of a reflection of this. So again, this software is excellent, but it does have its limitations in the way that it renders light sources like this. Okay. So in reality, this would just be a bright white triangle, as we'd be seeing a direct reflection of that, compared to just using a regular normal light where we barely see anything at all because we're not seeing the reflection of the light. Okay. So let's quit that because I'm sure the stream is lagging to all hell. Danny, the program is called Satellite 3D. They have trial versions. And if you're using my colors, then they actually have my gel pack in that software as well, which is super useful for me because I use the same gels over and over again. So they actually have my gel pack in there. You just scroll down to the bottom and you'll see my gels in there as well. For you, Danny, I know you're shooting Rotolite, but those same colors that you're seeing in my Master of Light pack embedded in those lights are going to be the same gels that are in that program. So it's called Satellite 3D. Yeah. Like I said, they've got a trial version. You can check it out. The limitations used to be the number of lights you could use, but it's not expensive. Like I think you can use it forever for like £100 or something like that. So in my opinion, it's yeah, super useful. Yeah. So Thunderbolt here says, if I use a flashlight in the background and use one strobe to light the model, does it count as a 2 light or still 1 light setup? I mean, if a car passed by and the headlight shines on the model, it doesn't count, right? Ask if a brilliant lead up, Thunder. Yeah. So yeah, this is I'm not sure whether you were just joking or not. I mean, because you the joke that Thunder is alluding to is, I think that Chris Knight and Lindsay Adler did like this shoot off thing, and I think it was supposed to be like a 1 light setup or something like that, and like Lindsay played by the rules, bless her, and she used 1 light to create this shot, and then Chris used 1 light on the model, and then 8 lights in the background. And I called him out on it. So I think that's where that joke comes from. But yeah, it is certainly not 1 light to light the subject, and then everything else is supplemental. But yeah, so it's the size of the light source, right? So this is what's going on here. I might actually open up that program again. How bad was the stream lag? Was it horrendous, or could you cope if I opened it up and showed you a lighting diagram again? Was it manageable? Because I wanted to show you roughly like how I shot this. Yeah, just to kind of show you. And I shouldn't take too much. Seems okay. Okay, fine. All right. Let's try it then, and then. Because I use the same principle on that image that you see there, so it may lag whilst this is loading, but yeah. So let's see if it stabilizes. And just gonna have let's have her sat is fine. So what I was doing with this then, right, is I'm using I think I'm actually using the ceiling. I think I'm actually using the ceiling in this particular one, but let's have a look. So in that shot that I took that I've shared there, I think I'm using the ceiling, but I don't know. Let me just have a look. So what I'm doing is she's sat down, as you can see in that shot, and then what I'm doing is I'm using a very hard light. Well, yeah, I mean, I actually use the blades in it, and then all I'm doing is basically bouncing that light off of the top there. So you can see here, I'll just hide my, let me just see if I can hide my camera, two seconds. So you can see there in that shot how, I mean, and she's not even, she hasn't even got a chin back there, but you can see how that light is now very, very soft, falling down on her, right? So that's essentially what's going on there. Is I have that, optical snoot. I'm using the Godox spotlight thing that I've spoken about recently, and then I'm just having her sat there, and then I'm having that light falling down on her to create that super soft looking light. Okay. So beautifully soft light there. Okay. And then you can just fill it in with a softbox or whatever, with a different color or something like that if you wanted to. Oh, that is a nasty color. Oh, Danny, yeah, if you're still here, the colors are all down here at the bottom. So these are all so you got my pastel pack and my saturates pack down. Yeah, pretty much from the heavy frost down. Yeah, these are all my gels in my pack. Yeah. So for example, you just have that coming in there, nice and soft. Turn the power of that down. And then we have this one here is lagging, so I'll nearly done. So that's the bare bones of it, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm not lighting that subject, but I'm getting this beautiful even tone across the body, right? So it's beautiful even, no hot spots or anything like that. Okay, so again, I'm not lighting her, but her body is being lit by the reflection of that light source. Okay, which this has been incredible for. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I'll just check before I close that. I'll just check there's no questions. Nice. Okay. Right. Close that out. So yeah, like I said, I was using the Godox spotlight thing that I've been talking about for several weeks, and actually, bouncing it off things here. So let's look at a couple more examples of how that looks. So there's an external hard drive here, so bear with me as it may need to spin up. It's not SSD. Okay, so here's these. So that's the shot that we've just been looking at, right? Or this one is. Okay, similar sort of thing. Look how soft that light is, though, and look at down here. See how it drifts off like this? Beautiful, beautiful softness. Just absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So this is exactly the same principle, but this time what I'm doing is I'm bouncing it off the wall in front of her. And again, look at how gradual and soft that light is. No hot spotting or anything like that. Really, really gradual, and you can light very large areas like this. Okay. So, being able to bounce the light off something like this really gives you this this wall of light. Okay. And again, the light is not pointed at her, it's pointed at a white wall in front of her. Okay, and that's what's bouncing off and giving this beautifully soft light like that. Okay. Again, similar to the thing here. I mean, you see the nice big catch lights in the eyes here as well. Beautiful, and again, super, super soft. Okay. I'm going for this dark and moody shot here, but even you can see here, like the face and the hands and stuff down here, almost similar exposure, right? So again, super simple to use. I think I shared this one here. Let's have a look. Similar thing. So again, I'm pointing that light towards me. I've got whiteboards next to me, pointing that light in there. And again, using the same principle, bouncing. This is just white light now as opposed to colored light. And again, bouncing that light into a white wall, just massive catch lights. But again, you're not lighting the subject, so you get a very even spread of light, super controllable. It's just unbelievably soft. Yeah. So this is the same thing, bouncing it off the whiteboard above her there, and it just bathes them in light. Okay. Super, super easy to use, but gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. I keep on seeing the optical spotlight on eBay for just over £8. I'm tempted to think it's made by Celine. Yeah, I mean, I think the cheap ones should be fine. Hey Lucas, how you doing? The cheap ones shouldn't be too bad. Like some of them need a lens. So some of them need a lens that you need to attach. Like I did a whole article on it, which goes over it. But essentially, you've got a lens that needs to be attached to it that you need to buy. Let's have a look. Kicks what? Optical snoot. Oh, top one. Yeah. So this is what I've got, which has almost no vignetting, right? But obviously a bit more expensive. A lot more expensive. And then this is the old Bowens one, and then these are the more modern ones. These optical snoots, and they'll have a hole to put your own lens in. So there you can you can get a decent quality. Some of them on eBay should be okay. It's really dependent on the lens that they have at the front of them. So I've bought a few over the years. Some of them have been pretty good. It comes with a lens, yeah, okay. Yeah. If you find a link to the cheap one, Jamie, I'll have a look. Yeah. But yeah, it's really, I mean, because this thing is just a carcass, right? It's just empty, and obviously it's got ground glass in there so that you get this even tone, but it's the lens that you put on the front of it that's going to dictate the size of the image, the quality of the image, and how much vignetting you have. But yeah, take a look at that. Okay. So yeah, so that's it's kind of our roundabout chat there about cinematic lighting and looking at how some of the cinematic styles of light can be used, and me kind of taking some inspiration from that and kind of playing with that, because this image here is inspired by that Batman, right? Me trying to carve out something that's very, very dark from a dark background with this kind of reflected light setup, right? So this is kind of the inspiration for where I ended up with these shots, and I got to admit I love it. I absolutely love that effect, because it's very difficult to do with something else, right? What are you going to do? You're going to hang a 150 inch centimeter softbox up there. That's you need a ton of room. B, you're going to have hotspots with that softbox, right? So for something like this from above, pretty cool idea, if I don't say so myself. I don't take all the credit, of course, but I did that to avoid it coming in there. I would actually say this should probably be fine, man. Yeah, this should probably be fine. The reason I say that is because I bought one similar to this with this massive lens on the front, because I wanted to use it in a small space. The issue with some of the optical snoots and that sort of thing is that the beam, whatever you want to call the actual spot, you need to put it further back for it to get bigger. English difficult. So, and yes, you go, well, why, Jake, why don't you use like a wide angle lens on the front of it? You can do that, and I did have one. I had an old Sigma wide angle lens. It was just heavily vignetted. So what I just did, I was like, look, let's just try this. It's got a massive lens on the front. This actually makes a very large spot. I don't have this exact one, but it looks like it's just got a massive kind of lens on the front. I would say this one's probably okay, man. Yeah. In all honesty, unless you want to be doing like fine detailed work with gobos and that sort of thing. Yeah. David Webb mentioned that there are other alternative, like Lindsay's one. You know, obviously you're paying a lot more for that, so look into it. But you know, I haven't used it. I'm sure it's excellent. That's it. Yeah, I'm sure it's excellent. But yeah, this one here will give you a very large spot. So if you're working in small spaces, then yeah, David, not everybody's a pro photo user, okay? But no, in all seriousness, I'm sure it's fine. I'm only teasing David there. It just has a ton of extra stuff. There you go. It's a ton of extra stuff for pro photo users that need it. That's fine. Thunderbolt says blonde model, light skinned, all white outfit, white background, interested in coloured long exposure portrait. Will this be a nightmare or is it workable? Blonde model, light skinned, all white outfit, white background, interested in coloured long exposure portrait. Will this be a nightmare? Can you show me an example of the image that you're trying to recreate? I might be able to. I mean, it's definitely fine. You're just going to need to be a little bit more controlled, and as long as it's not full body, yeah. I have it. It's great, especially the leaves. Great, light slivers, nice. Yeah. Cool. There you go. So, if you've got the money, go for it. Nice. What I was asking about, Chris, the optical spot. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. No, I think what Chris is referring to is the Westcott one. Yeah. Okay, right. We're getting sidetracked with gear talk as usual. So yeah, Jamie, if you were here, I would say what you're looking at would be fine. I think it would create a large spot in a small space, which is the reason I bought a cheap one like that one, for the same reason. And it does create a very large spot in a very small space because of that massive lens on the front. In terms of sharpness towards the edges for gobos and that sort of stuff, questionable, right? And you can always use, obviously, you know, David and Chris there have got blades and that sort of stuff, but you can use cine foil inside them if you want. Yeah. Okay. I swear, I don't know how David does it. I swear he manages to bring up that optical spot in every stream. Love it. He must be on commission or something. All right, let's have a look. So yeah, unless there's any questions on cinematic stuff, I thought it was something to chat about, something to think about. Look at movies. Nobody, apart from Jamie, nobody else shared their best movies. Look, David's in here, flogging his wares. He didn't share his favourite movie. Chris is in here. Where's your favourite movies, lighting wise? Come on, let's see them. So Jamie says, I'm doing a book with Marquis next year, so I need to be creative and do things on the cheapest possible. Nice. Trying to emulate an image you did for ProEdu tutorial, the one with the white background, but the model who wants me to shoot that look has this all white signature look she likes, and I'm worried all the whiteness. You tell him, Jamie, and I'm worried. Okay, I think I know what you're referring to then, because you're talking about I mean, this is the technique, right? Like the moving background, right? I mean, it's possible. It is possible. My advice would be to go, yes, I would love to make that happen for you. By all means, bring along that outfit if there's any way that you could encourage them to bring something else and do both, that way you've kind of covered yourself and go, look, I did what you want. Yeah, happy. What do you think to this one where we can actually see you? Do you prefer that? But it's totally possible, Thunder. It is totally possible. It's just gonna require you to be bang on with the lighting and exposures. The most specifically, you're gonna have to have a very even spread of light back here. So in the Pro EDU, I think I just bounce a light straight off a white wall, which is fine, but you can tend to get some like vignetting, right, where it's brighter in the middle, or hot spotting, and then kind of fades off to shadows here. It's okay, but it's gonna be, to try and to kind of avoid that, what I would normally do is kind of overexpose that light behind, so that we kind of get rid of that hotspot altogether, right? So everything's a hotspot. You're going to struggle to do that with a white outfit. So here, for example, you can see I haven't got any hotspot at all, because I'm using a scrim. Okay, so I'm basically double diffusing. I'm bouncing the light off the white wall, and then that light is then coming through a scrim. So here we have no hotspot, and then we're not bleaching out to white anywhere. Yeah. Hard Rain, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, good one. Thank you, Goncala. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad somebody's paying attention. Yeah, unlike these other freeloaders. I know David's going to come back with Paddington Bear or something anyway, so like let's have a look. Where is that? Is it one of these? Yeah, this one. That's right. You can see the hotspot here, right? So you can see the hotspot, and it's getting darker here. So this is what happens when you fire it into the white wall, as opposed to using the scrim as well. Exactly, Thunder. Yeah, exactly. So if you can do what I did with the scrim here, it's going to be super even. You're not going to have to worry about it. Yeah. So just get a scrim, and you can buy diffusion material on Amazon for like 20 quid. Diffusion sheet. There you go. Yeah. So I've got a couple of packs of these. So if you don't have a scrim, it depends how fancy you want to be, right? If the client is spending dollars, and you just turn up with a bit of old sheet and drape it over a clothes horse, then yeah, it's not going to put you in the best light. But if you're trying to save money and you don't want to buy a scrim, because scrims, like, I love my scrim, I would recommend it to everybody, but they're about 100 quid, 150 quid. So here you could just buy this diffusion material and then suspend it over like goalposts, right? So light stands and a crossbar, and then that would do it for you. Yeah. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, this stuff here is great. I mean, I've got I used it the other day. I use it all the time. In fact, I use it on top of my scrim to get even more diffusion. So, honestly, guys, I would just get this anyway and have it just in case you need to add extra diffusion to a light. This will also help your nasty softboxes that some of you are still using. So if you've got a hotspot, you just drape this over it again to kind of soften out that softbox. If you really insist on using it, this will help that hotspot. Yeah. As Ian says, when I think of a good movie lighting, it's all about Sin City. Worried that's going to get me kicked out. Selective color. Ian, yeah, no, you're right, and that's kind of in the same vein as David Fincher, what he's doing with that very strong edge lights, back, that sort of thing, and it's a good example of memorable lighting, right, as opposed to it just being flat lit. So yeah, no, I totally get what you mean with the lighting in that, and there are some really cool shots with really contrasty light for sure. Yeah, good example. Yeah. Okay, right. Let's go through some images. Yeah, let's get into this. Thanks, David. Thanks for that. You just cheated. You literally just cheated. Honestly, I can't take you anywhere. Right. Let's have a look. What we got here? Ooh, got some colour in here. Got some colour. Ooh, no black and whites. No need to ban anybody. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Right, so what are we doing here? So every week I do a share a shoot. Every 2 weeks I do a live stream, and I get you guys to submit your shots in the post, which is what we did here. I'm going to go through those, give some feedback, have a look, see what you guys have been working on, and yeah, take a look. So Pat's up first. We got concept shoot with our concept shoot with your tip last time using glycerin on an acrylic sheet for that front bokeh bubble. Okay, yeah, clever, I like it. Definitely. So this bokeh here is created from shooting. Oh, you can see it in the foreground here. Okay. Do you know what? At first impressions, I thought that was behind. Nice. 8400 from cam left and high up with its base reflector dish as global illumination. So we've got 8400. Those are the little speedlight jobs, right? Or they look like a speedlight jobs. Yeah, they're really good, those things. 8200 in 40 centimeter deep parabolic on camera left as key, so that's what's lighting her face there. And 8200 with 105 on camera right, acting as fill light. Okay, yeah. 2 strobes pointed at sheet in blue and yellow gel facing the sheet. Okay. So I won't be able to watch the live stream as it will be around 3 AM from my side of the orb. Where are you based in, Pat? I didn't say. Got to be. Well, I suppose you've got to be in Asia somewhere that way. Okay, so the setup. This is actually really cool. So what Pat's doing here is he's got a sheet of perspex that he's shooting through, and he's sprayed water and glycerin droplets onto that sheet of perspex that he's shooting through. Then what he's doing is he's firing. What did he say? We got blue and yellow lights into the camera through these droplets, and then those droplets are being highlighted on the actual perspex in front of the camera. Okay, and that's how we're getting this kind of bokeh effect. I don't know. Website never works, but I just thought I'd try it just in case. You just never know. I find the best way is just to keep doing it. But yeah. So and he's saying that he got the setup off my site, which I did many years ago now. But yeah, it's oh my god, it worked. So we've got a couple of different variations of it here. We got one here with 8 years, man. Jesus, nuts. So here we go. Yeah, it's kind of the technique, right? So I'm just using glass from a picture frame, mixing water and glycerin, spraying it onto that, and then here you go. Here's the setup. Oof, old school satellite 3D. Love it. Nice. So yeah, here you go. So this is the setup, right? So you can see that these lights are pointing actually towards the camera to actually catch on the glycerin themselves. But cool effect. Yeah, cool effect. I haven't thought about that in a long time until you said that, Pat. So thanks for bringing that up. I would, if you're interested in any feedback here, I would say that in terms of the technique, nailed it. Definitely working. I'm thinking, I don't know, but these kind of feel like, are these maybe too far away from the lens? If we brought these droplets in closer, would we have like larger droplets in camera? And then lastly, what I would do is, I'm going to open Photoshop. It's going to lag. I apologize. We're just going to have to write it out. Check out the original graphic novel from Sin City by Frank Miller. Hey, Gun, no worries. Yeah, see you again. Catch the rest of the stream on the VoD. It'll be on YouTube as well as Facebook. Okay, right. So let's. What are we going to do? Oh yeah. just wanted to quickly. Yeah, so with this, oh my god, my wife has just made crispy shredded chili beef outside. It is smelling amazing. I think we're gonna have to wrap this up, guys. So all I was going to say was just darken this down a little bit, and it'll help to bring out some of these colours. Yeah, just, you don't need to go too crazy, but just darken it down in the highlights there, just to bring out some of those colours, and then we can just have a little bit of a just dial in these colours just a tiny bit. Push up that blue, bring the blue back down in the highlights for the skin tone. Right, that kind of works, yeah. Let me try see if I can lift up that black point there in the background. Yeah, and then I was just seeing if we could kind of, because we got a lot of crazy colors going on here. I was just seeing if I could kind of lock a few of them. So we can either bring them out, or let's have a look. Or we can kind of try and bring some of them a little bit closer together. So you see here, just trying to bring in some of these. I mean, we can lean into the color tone as much as we want, but I'll just see if I can knock down that pink hair a little bit, because it's so bold. I think what you could do is you could try selective color, and then maybe it's in the magentas. You could try and knocking that down a little bit. Just to harmonize those colors a little bit. Yeah. Actually, and then we got this. I mean, I wonder how much of this we could. Yeah, we can actually get away with quite a lot there. Yeah, just playing with those. But yeah, the main thing from this is just to really darken it down, so we can bring out some of that skin tone from how bright it was before. Right, very, very bright, almost too bright. So we just want to kind of darken it down is the main thing. You don't need to do any of the color stuff that I did, but yeah, just darken it down just a touch. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for sharing that, and it's a blast from the past on the setup. Yeah, that's great that you came across that and was playing with that. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's so cool. Yeah. How you doing, Dave? Good to see you, Dave. Thanks for joining in. To be fair, it's Bank Holiday Monday, right, Dave? Yesterday, so it's kind of thrown us all off here. It's like, oh, it was the weekend yesterday. It's not Tuesday today. I get it. Yeah. Jamie says, going back to suggestions on beautiful cinema, I could literally fill up a live stream with what to check out. I'm sure, man. Yeah, I mean, there's tons out there. It's just when you put on the spot, difficult, isn't it? So Bob says, use some Godox TL120 light tubes. Okay. Set to dark green color and explore 600 pros to do some football pictures for my son. Added the neon lights in Photoshop. Oh, okay. So these aren't the... Do you know what? I thought these were the tubes. So these aren't the tubes. You've added these later on in post. Okay. I bet your son loves this. This is brilliant. Yeah, it's really cool. And... How much of the green was actually here in the original before we brought it into Photoshop? Now I don't think we can color correct that, but I am kind of a little bit curious as to how much of the young lad we could just pop out of this. Just so it's not all green. But that's what you're going for. That's absolutely fine. But I think we could, just bring out just a touch more of him there. The thing with this selective color, don't forget you can just stack these. Sometimes if you're trying to do something a lot, if you're trying to make some heavy adjustments, you may need to add it again. So which you can do. You can definitely stack them. Yeah. So yeah, I just thought now that we've done that. The other thing as well is because we've stacked this change underneath, now we can start working on the reds. Because before there wasn't really any reds, but because we've brought them out, we're able to now dip into them. So my point being is, don't try and come in here and start trying to go, oh yeah, trying to make it work with the reds, because we haven't done this yet. Right, so as soon as you do this, then you can create another one and then go, okay, now I've brought out the reds, now I can work on those as well. Okay, so yeah, I just think something like that, where we can just bring out him just a tiny bit. Love the idea, and like the effects that you've got, just to bring him out just a touch, just so we can see a little bit more character in there, and helps him pop out from the green. But otherwise, like the lighting and stuff, I think we've got this beautiful highlights and stuff on the skin, highlights on the top, highlights from below, really cool lighting on the face. You've got these nice big catch lights in the eyes as well. I think it's really, really nicely done. Yeah, I bet he loved it. Yeah, and I think it's great that with lighting and that sort of thing, photography, you can do this with your kids and that sort of thing. Make the most of it, because they'll get to an age where they'll just be like, I'm not posing for you. That's it. Make the most of it. So thanks for sharing that one, Bob. Appreciate it, mate. Yeah. Rafaela says, love this image, so mysterious. Great job as usual, Jack. Well, thank you, Rafaela. It's very kind. Hopefully, if you get to watch the this VoD, you'll see how it was lit now. So Mikey says here, would love your CC on a new alt model boudoir series I've teased you with for a bit now. Finally done and copyrighted, releasing as an NFT series on 10th of the 13th, so 13th of October, right? First big project. Love your thoughts on the series. Am I going to get banned? Like, how boudoir are we talking? I'll keep it tiny. I'll just check. It's looking safe-ish. I have got this muted so far, just for copyright on the VoD and stuff, yeah. Well, and on the stream, yeah. Okay, so this is okay, interesting. So, like, the NFT thing is, you don't hear much of it anymore, right? The crypto stuff, and just move that back. Yeah, what was it? 2 years ago now, crypto stuff. Yeah, about the NFTs and that sort of thing. I mean, look, more power to you. If you can make it work, absolutely do it. Yeah, I haven't looked into it a huge amount. There's a couple of people in stream, or used to be in stream, who played around with it, and it's definitely worth asking around. But maybe you're the best person to ask anyway. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. The NFT thing can be a little bit heated. It's no, for me, it's nowhere near as heated as the AI stuff. I think if you can make it work, then crack on. Yeah, absolutely do it. So we'd love your CC on a new alt model boudoir series I've teased for a bit now. Finally done and copyrighted, releasing as an NFT series on 13th of October. First big project. I mean, overall, the series looks really tight. It looks like they are all part of the same series from what I've seen there. Everything looks like they're from, it looks like a body of work. It's not just like girls in lingerie, one's on a beach, one's, on a sofa, one's, they all look like they're part of the same series. So I'm not sure how the NFT thing would work. You're selling the video as an NFT, or you're selling the individual images and as NFTs. I also don't know the deal with copyrights with regards to the model copyright release forms and all that sort of stuff. Again, I'm sure you're more up to date with it than I am. Yeah, you just got to be wary with the ownership. When you're selling ownership like that, you just got to be careful with model releases and that sort of thing. But again, I'm sure you know more about it than I do. I just know that some people have been a little bit caught out with it. So I mean, as long as the models are aware and they're cool with it and that sort of thing, I don't know what deal you've got worked out, but yeah, just crossing your T's and dotting your I's, really. Yeah, from what I've seen in terms of a series, yes, I think they work. I think they look tight. Looks like they're all from the same body of work. They all look like from the same photographer. It's definitely a style there. So I think I think it's good, man. I think it's good. Yeah. I mean, in terms of deeper feedback on those, I would need to see the individual images. But again, it's kind of difficult when you're critiquing individual images and not a whole. Yeah, I think it looks good. Yeah, I wish you luck with it. Yeah. And Jamie says here, crypto kicked off in the pandemic. That's right. Yeah, it wasn't for me, but I know people who made money over it. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a deep topic that can be heated for a lot of people. My side passion is gaming, for example, and like NFTs and stuff in gaming got really heated for a bit. So it does kind of skew my look at it as I'm more familiar with the issues with NFTs and crypto ownership of digital assets from the gaming side of things as opposed to photographers. But yeah, I mean, there's certainly tons of it out there. Yeah, tons of it out there. I wish you luck with it. Yeah, and actually, I mean, if you don't mind, keep us posted on it. I would be interested to hear a positive side to it if you don't mind, because really, it's just news in general, right? You only really hear the negatives. So I would actually be interested to hear the positives from it. Yeah. Also great to have something different in here as well. Like, you're exploring different avenues. It's not just looking at images that we share online. You're trying to take it that one step further. So yeah, more power to you, mate. So Tony's work here. Tony from Australia. I'm not sure whether he's joined us just yet. He's just having his morning coffee. Another overcast day. So this is a shot with a fill flash shot into an umbrella. Okay. Lens is 58mm. I picked up secondhand. Love it. 58mm. Weird fun fact. My favorite focal length. You can filter your Lightroom library through focal length. And by far and away, my most popular focal length is 58mm, like hugely. And I don't own a 58mm lens. I own a 24-70. So yeah, it's a beautiful mil on full frame. So this one here, Tony, I love the shot. Same thing as what I was kind of mentioned before about how bright this is. This 58mm lens has got some weird bokeh, like square bokeh or something like that. It's kind of a weird one. But yeah, this one here, let's see if we can darken this down a little bit. So one thing that's happening there, I mentioned I mentioned this earlier on when we were talking about cinematic lighting and that sort of stuff. We mentioned about contrast and color, how they're linked. Even me darkening it down, then you can see the color coming out of it. This is what happens as well with skin, right? Yeah, you see this all the time with people. Like bad photography overexposes skin to hide the blemishes. I'm not saying this is what Tony's doing at all, but I'm saying that there are photographers who overexpose to hide the skin. I mean, look at Hollywood glamour, from the 60s and that sort of stuff. It was Fresnel lights that would just make the skin porcelain. This is before Photoshop, right? So they kind of overexposed it a little bit back then as well. So my point being, when I darkened it down, that's when that skin color sort of came out a little bit as well. So this one is kind of an interesting one. I feel like there's something we could do with the colors here. Still too bright, I think, but yeah, I'm not over the moon about that. But let's see. Oh, actually, I've got some presets for. guys, don't all jump up at once to download those. What about this one? Oh yeah, got enough presets, right? What about this one? So those presets I did on an old live stream. We were playing around with it, but they are playing with daylight shots. I mean, the only way I could maybe apply image to darken down those highlights even more. Yeah, this is, I don't know why I can't get this skin tone to look. Because we darkened it down, we lost too much data, like when we darkened it. Skin tone is looking weird. We got rid of the green though. But yeah, the main thing here, Tony, is just to darken that down. We have darkened it down a lot, and I think we're starting to get skin break up with the like there isn't the color there. So when we darken it down, it's just going to blank tone. Yeah. You don't need to darken it down as much if you don't want to, but just definitely take it down a bit. Yeah. Right. I'm doing a shootout at the end of next month. Will you judge the pics of me and my opponent? I'd love to, man. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah. What is a shootout? I've just signed up to it, but what is it? Like, what do you do? You just get 2 lights and 15 minutes to take a headshot, or oh, you did get them, Danny. Nice. Yeah, there is a few on the website, I think, somewhere, but yeah, they are a bit. That's the thing why I don't do presets, because you just see them advertised and they look amazing. You download them, they just look terrible. It has to be a specific setup for it to work with. Yeah. So Marcus here would love some CC, and there's 2 rim lights: orange gel with silver lined umbrella, key light, blue gel with silver lined beauty dish, edited in Lightroom Photoshop. Okay. So 2 rim lights, orange gel with silver lined umbrella. So we've got what, an orange umbrella on this side, orange umbrella on that side, and then the key light with a blue gel up here, right above, which is in a beauty dish. Okay. So in principle, right, setup's great, nice. We've got a great setup. We've got some funky stuff going on here with the skin. I feel like we may have over smoothed the skin a little bit, just looking a little bit glassy. So we just knock back that skin smoothing just a touch. But the other thing we want to watch out for is the exposure of how bright this is as well. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to darken this down because it's very bright in some of the highlights, but I don't think we're going to be able to darken it down, but this is overly bright. Now, the other thing that we have going on here is we have a lot of overlapping colors. Yeah, and those overlapping colors are neutralizing each of them. Yeah, they're neutralizing themselves. So when you overlap those colors like this, especially orange and blue, they kind of wash each other out. One thing I do like is we have this beautiful specular highlight here from the beauty dish, right? We just spoken about this at the start of the stream with cinematic lighting, bouncing light off larger surfaces, and then we're actually seeing the reflection of that light source. So that's kind of what's going on here, but we're actually seeing that nice big beauty dish. We've got this beautiful highlight on the face. So I feel like it's overexposed a little bit there. The oranges here as well are very overexposed, which is why we're bleaching out some of the tone here. Now, it could be a couple of reasons why this is happening. One of the reasons is that when we're playing with gels, we tend to think, okay, I want more color, so I add more power. Right? I understand why people do that. We all did it at the start. You know, we set up our gel light. We want, I haven't got enough color. Okay, let's give it more juice. Yeah, just give it more power. Going to give me more color. Sadly, that's actually the opposite of what you want to do. And if you're in that situation, I would encourage you to turn the power down, right? Because that's when that color is really going to start to shine through, and that's when we'll start to see it. So I think lighting placement sounds good, right? I think we've got the umbrellas behind, 2 orange, and we've got that nice beautiful key light there with the blue in the beauty dish. For what I can see from the highlights and stuff here, beauty dish is looking good. Just dial that down a little bit. And then the orange lights from behind, maybe we just gotta darken them down a little bit because they're looking to be bleaching out the outfit here. So that's how I know that they're overexposed, and I feel like they're overlapping a little bit. So just make sure that those lights are almost behind the subject. Yeah, so it's not falling forward onto the front of the subject like we see here. So keep them behind, keep them up nice and high. You know, because what we don't want is them to be, I don't know, maybe I'm being generous. I don't want them to be here. We want them to be up there, right? We want them to be up far, almost up higher, so it's coming down onto the subject, yeah, as opposed to coming up underneath the subject there like that. So couple of points there. Most one, darkening them down. Yeah, darkening them down. Yeah. If you are let's have a look. So this here talks about similar sort of thing. This article talks about how when the lights overlap these two colors, this is a very heavy duty article, but the principle is that when complementary colors like orange and blue mix, they neutralize one another. They actually give us this gray tone. So it actually feels like you've lost all that color. So again, you can be then fooled into, okay, I need to increase the power to get more color to come from them. When really, we just need to make sure those lights are separate. Those two colors are separate, and we just need to make sure they're not too bright. Oh, hey Bob, did you see this? Did you see that? You were saying, okay, that's cool, appreciate that for the image. That's what you were saying, Bob, from this one earlier on. Yeah, no worries, man, no worries. All good, all good. Oh, another beautiful shot from Robin here, always a pleasure. Here is another take from previous set. I had this set up the moment the model walked through the door. I lost confidence because when the images were live, I felt uncertain about the outcome and prematurely cut it. I felt the initial colors were poop. I could use any CC or advice on initial confidence following through with the main idea. Any CC is appreciated. I'm a sponge. I will try to be here for live stream. I might miss it. Yeah, Robin, you are not alone at this. Yeah, I mean there is actually a well-known, or not well-known, but there is certainly there is certainly a meme that says artists love it, hate it, love it, hate it. It's okay, hate it, love it. You know, that's the process that we go through when we're shooting. You know, and I'm exactly the same. I'll shoot it and go, oh yeah, this is cool. Look at the back of the camera. Oh, you know, get it in Lightroom. Oh, okay, no, maybe that's not so bad. You know, start working on it. Oh, I don't know. And then, you know, you get to the end, you're like, actually, it's pretty good. You know, that's just the nature of being an artist. You know, and I say that in all seriousness, because, you know, if you're not going through that process, you're not really pushing yourself enough. So what I mean by that is, if you're just doing the same shit day in, day out, right? Just white background, high key, and you're not going through that process of like, I don't know, and you know, like, are you really pushing yourself? Like, you're not, yeah. So, you know, if you're not going into a shoot anxious, apprehensive, that sort of thing, you know, are you really pushing yourself? No. So I think it's good to have those emotions. It's good to have those kind of questions, those kind of feelings. And I have done it. In fact, I can put my hand on exactly that. I did it. Where did I do it? I did so the thing that you mentioned about setting up the lights. Looked terrible. This shoot. I did exactly the same thing. So these images here, these two, and then you'll see the difference in the rest of the shoot, right? So exactly the same thing happened to me. I set up the shot. I was like, oh my god, it's not working. Bottled it, and then went to just the traditional blue stuff, right? Just, you know, that I would normally do, and I regretted it as soon as I got to the end. I should have, like, I love these rich, like, coppery, you know, rusty oranges and that sort of thing that I initially went for, and then bottled it. So look, I'm, you know, and I'm just sharing that because I promise you, you are not alone, right? It happens. I think the fact that you are now on the other side of it, you already know the answer, you know, without me having to say it. But, you know, you just got to have the confidence to push through on the day, and, you know, don't be in a rush to show them subject, client, or model. Sometimes you can't avoid it. But yeah, don't always be in an immediate rush to show the subject. You know, always try and show confidence in the shot, even if you're not happy, right? I always use the analogy at the start of a shoot. What happens is you'll set everything up and you start shooting and you're like, oh my god, it's not working, this is not cool, but you can't show that, right? You have to keep it, oh yeah, no, this is cool, let me just try something else, let me try this, I know it'll be good. Like, you just got to keep, you know, you want to be giving them the impression that you're trying to improve it, right? Just trying to give it that extra little seasoning on top when really you're screaming inside, right? Again, that happens. And I give the analogy of, you see a duck swimming on a river, right? And you see that duck swimming up the river and you go, oh yeah, beautiful duck swimming up the river, so serene. Now, on the surface, that duck looks serene. Under the surface, his legs just like absolutely just really going for it, right? Screaming, like, because he's trying to swim against the current, right? He's really going for it. So on the surface, it looks serene. Underneath, different story, right? And that's kind of like the analogy that I give for my photo shoots, right? Is you just gotta portray the fact everything's going really well, really pumped. You know, don't be in a rush to show the subject the images, and just keep plugging away. Hey, look, you know, this was years ago now. You know, I haven't had this happen in a long time, but I remember it was a big hair shoot. I'm going back 15 years, something like that. And it was just terrible, right? The location, I wasn't expecting so much light in the location. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. The client wanted to change things, and it was just like, I need to go to the bathroom, okay? Just give me 2 seconds, guys. And you just needed to, you know, just reset, yeah? People are asking you questions. They're like, oh, can I play with his hair? Can I do this? Oh, is that's not bright enough? You know, you got your clients there. You know, you just need to step away and reset. If you've got to do that, it's fine, right? It's like, nobody's going to question you going to the toilet, you know? It happens. And then you come back, reset. Okay, got this great idea, guys. how about if we do this, and then just stay prompt for it. Yeah, Miriam there saying it's the same for drawing. It's just same as being like an artist, right? Yeah. Dave says, always nervous before a shoot, not quite to the point of throwing up anymore, but enough to remind me to be on my game. Yeah, exactly, yeah. And like, I think it's healthy, right? I think it's a necessary evil. I mean, we had, who was it in here a minute ago was asking, I think it was Thunder, asking about like long exposure shoot, and he's talking about my Pro EDU video. Like this thing here, like Rob Grimm, I was driving, this was shot on the streets of St. Louis late at night, and not only was I about to do a shoot, but it was about to be filmed in a way that I was teaching people how to do it, right? And I'd never done this before. I'd never seen the street, didn't know whether we had street lights, never seen the location, like the model had gone off, didn't even know what she was going to be wearing. So not only do I have to set up this shoot, make it look good, but I'm being filmed so that every single thing that I'm doing is being scrutinized on film, and I'm supposed to be teaching it. Now look, it all worked out, got some beautiful images. I'm lying in the middle of the road, I have an armed police officer guarding me. Apparently, guns are a thing in America or something like that. I don't know. But yes, we had like an armed police officer off duty, whatever it was. And it was just like, this is all being filmed for video, was absolutely hilarious. Here is, I don't know whether I talk about it in the film, although it should have done, but I just want to mention this is a really good example of how to do blocking with dark outfits at night. So you see what I've done here? I've lit this, electric box behind the model, and see how it carves her out. There's just no way I was going to be able to light her at night with the lights that we had. We had one key light, and then the rest is long exposure. So what I'm doing here is I'm lighting this thing behind her. You just got to keep looking for those spots. But yeah. So yeah, I can assure you, you're not alone. You just got to smile and press on, right? How do you shoot jewelry with a model using colored light? How do you keep jewelry the right color, silver, gold, etc.? You don't. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you can. If it's something that is going to be paramount to the client, that it is, you either have to shoot it separately with white light, or you just color correct it later on in post, which is usually what I do if it's that important. But yeah, I mean, for silver and stuff and gold, it's not too difficult. You just desaturate and then just yellow it afterwards. It's not tricky to do, but it's just got to look natural, If I use a strobe to light the model and there is lights in the background, is that one light? I know. Right. So CC on this then. So like, for the most part, I think we're good. And, even Jamie says here, absolutely adore this. I think this is a beautiful shot. Now, the reason we think it's a beautiful shot is because we don't know what you had in your mind's eye, right? That's the other thing that we have to fight with, is a lot of the times we'll have an image in our mind's eye and it doesn't come out how we envisaged it, and us as creatives see that as a failure. Yes or no? I think this is a beautiful image. Now, maybe it's not exactly as you wanted, but, learn from this and then do this again, like I was talking about here with my thing here. Sadly, I was never ever able to recreate this same bronze defect, but you live and learn. So I'm just reading this again. Lost confidence because I felt uncertain about the outcome and prematurely cut it. I felt the initial colours were poop. So I'm not sure what you felt was poop, but are you talking about the saturation and that sort of thing? I think it works. I think it's it's cold. We have some bluish greenish undertones here, which feels very luxury to a certain extent. Like, we're a little bit overexposed on the skin here. Which may be putting you off a little bit, which can be an issue, right? A little bit overexposed on the skin, so maybe dull that. dial that back a little bit. I don't think we're going to be able to do too much with just the... We can bring that down a little bit. Push comes to shove, you could kind of try and add... I don't know what skin tone you want to go for here. I'm just trying to add some tone back into the bleached bits. But you don't have to. Yeah. See, I kind of like this kind of greenish color, you know. Yeah, so I think I might remove that there. Yeah. So I think it depends what you're going for. The only thing that immediately kind of caught me was just that light from behind her there, just catching the nose. Just gotta be careful with that. Like, I think it's okay here, but it does just highlight the nose, which is a bit of a pain. I guess not the end of the world, but it's just something to be mindful of, you know. Even if we just make it the same color as the skin tone, it will help it a little bit rather than it being orange. Yeah. So yeah, I would look. I think it's cool. We got this beautiful foreground element here. We're being led in, kind of like the angle that you're going for, her leaning back like that. The orange light looks nice and high. Just watch it catching on the nose there. I'm just trying to work out where your key light is on the face here, because we have kind of these pockets that I'd be wary of. I think we are looking at the key light. It looks to be, you know, quite far over there to the right. So I'm not sure whether it's a softbox or a beauty dish. A beauty dish would help to just, you could bring it in super close and allow that light to just fall off real quick. So that could be an option as well. Yeah. But overall, I think it's good. I think it's great. Yeah. Can you recreate it? That's the question. Oh, you're here, Robin. Oh, nice. My key light was bounced off ceiling. Okay, interesting. Okay, so no worries, Robin. No worries. Key light was so this. Yeah. Okay. So this light here on the right is bounced off the ceiling, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I think overall, I don't know why this feels like we have this weird pockets of light here, pockets of shadow here that is not feeling right. But I mean, you could probably just ease them off a little bit in post, just here. But again, like having a beauty dish would enable you to have a faster drop off of light and just give you a little bit more tonality on the face. But yeah. Jake, tell us your pitch as to why you should pick your gels over other packs. Your gels are the only ones I get because you're the one that got me to try the technique. I've never used any other. The reason I made that pack, I mean, years ago, I mean, it must be 10, 15 years ago now, was because all the other packs were horrendous. And by that, I mean, colored gels came out of like 1980s music video. They were just nasty. I can speak freely about them now because I no longer work with them, but Bowens, when I was working with Bowens all those years ago, they had gel packs and they were like, oh yeah, we got some gels for you. And it's just like, this is disgusting. I'm not using these colors. They're terrible, like dirty green colors and like just dark dingy blues and just red wine red. It's just not conducive to be used with portraits. So the reason I put those colors together is to kind of think about what colors work well together, not only from a complementary, triadic, analogous color theory concept, but also what's going to work on skin tones, right? So that blue that you always see me using, you know, for example, you know, it's the same blue that I always use to give me that kind of, this kind of, you know, chromed blue, but it works based on skin tone being the underlying color underneath it, right? It's not that color when you shine it against a white wall. So these gels are specifically designed with skin tones in mind, right? So that's kind of why I use them. So yeah, that's the pitch. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jamie. What a testimonial that's going on the website later on. Yeah. So Dave's point here: 16 million colors in LED. There is still need for gels. Well, like there is certainly things that LEDs can't do at the moment, just in terms of controlling the light, you know, panels and that sort of stuff. So I mean, I will still use strobes with my gels for like hard lights and that sort of thing to really fine tune it exactly where they are. So yeah, and sometimes too much choice is a bad thing. Yeah, I do fall into that trap with the Rotalights. You know, you got 16 million colors. It's like, Jesus Christ, where do I start? Yeah. So Jamie says, yeah, regarding Jake's Gels, I bought others such as Newer, and they never did what I wanted. This weekend I got what I wanted from Jake's Gels. Love it, absolutely love it. Yeah. Will you release a new bundle using Pantone colors of the years only? No, absolutely not. Yeah. You have to pay me $4,000 to be part of the exclusive club to use color of the year. Bullshit. Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm a Yorkshirean. I don't mess around with compliments. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. Right. No worries, Robin. All good. So Thunder says the color banding on skin caused by bad quality LED lights, or does it happen with gels too? The banding, there are occasions where the banding can happen from LED lights, but for the most part it's just bad lighting on the photographer's part. So it's not separating the colors, not using the correct modifiers to have even tones on the skin, that sort of thing. So for the most part it's not the gels, it is user error. Yeah. So Chris sharing a shot here with Amber. Nice. Loving these colors, Chris. Yeah, where was this? Was this a shot at were you just working with a one-on-one, or was this a workshop somewhere or something like that? This is really cool. Love the background color. Love the blue on this side, and then washed with the pink on that side. Really nice job. And then picked out with a hard light in the middle. This is really reminiscent of one of the setups I was sharing on the Rotalight workshops. Yeah, beautifully done. Love the colors. Yeah, great job, man. Yeah, just go easy on the skin smoothing, just a touch. Like if this is 100%, just bring it down to like 70%. Yeah. Neon Dreams. Okay. Dave says, yeah, you don't know there's some Master of Light presets to make choices easier. That's true. So the gel packs that I have are in the Rotalight lights as well, as in like the same selections of colors. So his point there is like, yeah, you don't need to worry about the 16 million colors. You just use the preset packs in there. So yeah, you're right. Yeah. I got a shot here from Lucas, Sony A7R, a Sony 55mm ISO 200. Okay. So just the natural light shot here, and looks like you've done something with the coloring here as well, just to give it a little bit of your own vibe, and playing with the pose and that sort of thing. We got contrast. We got a lot of bold contrast here with the dark strip going behind, and the dark strip going down the middle here. I think it works. Like the color tone is more of a analog feel to it in terms of the the filmic quality. I think it works. Yeah. Skin tones look good though. Yeah, it's nice. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. You actually got it pointed the right way with the light as well. I know it seems obvious, but you'd be surprised at how many people in natural light don't do that. Oh, got one from Jamie's here. Seeing as I basically made you look at it on Instagram. As this is a straight out of camera, so here's the breakdown. Corex sheets with applied vinyl wrap that I've had for 7 years, but haven't done anything with them. Used as a V-flat background. Nice. 3 Interfit, now in bankruptcy here in the UK. Are they? I didn't know that, Jamie. Are they? Honey badgers with gels. Nice. beauty dish arrangement that modify with Jake's video on YouTube, and from where I watched him live at the photography show last year. Oh, nice, yeah. Got one of those newer black Promos filters, nice, to enhance the glow. Lots of latex shiner and baby oil thrown into the mix. My studio is now an ice rink. That is true, man. Yeah, we used to have a painted white floor, and you'd be like spraying, shine and that stuff to get droplets, and it'd just be lethal. We had people going down hard before. Yeah. I did not know that, Jamie. Yeah, I did not know that. Yeah. That's nuts. Interesting. Thinking about it, I haven't heard much from them in a while. Yeah, it happens, man. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, this is really cool, man. And this is straight out of camera. This is all, good stuff. So yeah, I like the idea of the V flat behind. Super simple, create a studio anywhere type look, and you could, with this sort of shiny thing as well, you could kind of apply. What is this silver umbrella here, Jamie? Is that what we're using? Silver umbrella? Is that what we've got here? And what's the key light here? Beauty dish, by the looks of it, with the spot there. Correct sheets. Beauty dish. Yeah. A friend who's sponsored by Infit didn't even know. She found out from me. Yeah. Sounds about right, man. It looks like, silver umbrella here, something like that. So what you could do here is, rather than the umbrellas, which would be fine normally, is you could just have like a whiteboard here, right? And then you just shine your light into the whiteboard. Now what happens is you would then get this large reflection, which is exactly what we've been talking about at the start of the day with cinematic lighting look as well. So yeah, I mean, same thing could be here. You have that rather than just a smaller catch light from the umbrella. Something to play around with if you've got any of those boards left. Yeah, beauty dish, left umbrella. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you've got any V flats left over or anything like that, it's something to play with latex. So you actually see that reflection, like we were talking about with the Batman film, right? You actually see that larger reflection. But yeah, really cool. Yeah, loving this glow as well. Yeah, that filter's doing work. Looks good. Oh, hello, David graced us with an image. Nice. Faking the sunlight again. Nailed it. Yeah, try it, Jamie. Honestly, yeah, especially with latex, right? Because you saw that catch light of the umbrella in the shiny outfit. Imagine that, which is a massive board. You would get this beautiful long catch light, which is how they light cars and that sort of thing. Give it a go, yeah. Faking sunlight again. One light outside, no modifier. Okay. Camera right, second light, camera left, bounce off ceiling to lift shadows. Nice. Moment. Oh, you got the Cine Bloom for the moment. Nice. Yeah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, David. I mean, that actually looks more complicated than you've made it here. In a good way. Color grade's good. We've got this. David's been doing a lot with color grading in recent months with regards to trying to lock everything in, which is what we've been speaking about in the past. Also, David mentioned that he said cinematic lighting workshop, great workshop, and I don't know how much of it he's taken on board, but it looks like a lot. We've got a lot of foreground elements here. We're trying to lock these colors in with the yellows, having like a timeless image and that sort of stuff. Beautiful color grades. Also got that nice dreamy effect. This is great, man. This is really, really good, Dave. Yeah, really good stuff. Just simple stuff like this, just having this little bit here. Can you imagine if this was all just dark shadow? It'd be very heavy. Just put this table here and a book just in the foreground, just to break it up and lead us in. Yeah, beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful stuff. Really nice. Yeah. No real feedback from me here other than and it's awkward, I know, but just the lighting on the face feels weird, just because of where she is. Kind of difficult. I can see we have this nice light here, which is obviously coming from the ceiling, but because she's come back so much, we have this weird light up the face. It's a little bit of a tweak, but otherwise, yeah, really, really good stuff, man. Great stuff. Yeah, love it. It is a beautiful image, yeah. Yeah, so Nubov normally shares sexy models and that sort of stuff. But this time around, we got a self-portrait, and he's using 2 Pavo Tubes blue. Okay. Turtleneck borrowed from my wife. Absolutely love it. So doing a self-portrait, and then we just got this slit of light here. 160p with projector, so she's got this slit of light from the projector just slicing across there. Yeah, this little orange dot here is killing me. I would probably have to edit that out, but otherwise, yeah, it does clean it up a little bit. But yeah, otherwise, it's actually really nice the amount of light we have here in the shadow area. You know, because this is shadow area, but we haven't lost him against this background here. Beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful stuff. He's even made it into the profile picture. Nice. I feel like knowing Anubis, there's a reason for that yellow dot, but yeah. Right, we've come to the end here. My dinner has gone cold, so I'm just going to have a look at. Oh my god, look at all these latecomers. What's it like? Eh? What's it? Unbelievable. Let's see. I'll just have a quick look at these. Etienne, let's have a look. Beautiful, love this. Need one more image from the same shooting from last time. 5 flash, 2 reflectors. This is 5 flash. Okay, man. Okay. Hey, look. Hey, who cares how you got there? It's looking good, man. This is looking good. Love this. This idea of like this outfit and having the arms up is a winner, man. It's always a winner. You know, never. You see me doing it a lot, right? It's always a winner, especially with outfits like that. Works really well. So I love that. Also, I know this is very pale white, so you've done well not to lose any data in some of those highlights, which is nice. Got this nice pocket of light here on this side of the face. Yeah, beautifully done, man. Beautifully done. Good job. Yeah. How you doing, Etienne? How you doing? Dave's shot here. As Jake didn't remind us all, it's Tuesday. That's on me, man. That is definitely on me. I apologize. Rushed very last minute entry, completely unedited. Okay. Rotolite Neo 3 left and right. EOS 2 is key. Mixed colors on the Neo 3's EOS on the white. 5,700 Kelvin, all lights and flash. Okay. So we got some flames going on here. We got the Neos in here, just casting some of these colors and that sort of thing here. Yeah. Overall, man, we got a lot going on here. I would in post I would just try and straighten it up a little bit, just so we can straighten up these lines here in post. Just so those, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. And maybe try the lens correction feature as well, just to see if we can't stretch these out a little bit as well. So it's just a little bit more like with something graphic like this, we can afford to do that, and then just lift the shadows a little bit in post, and I think we'll be good to go. Yeah. Oh my god, you got the Pusheen emotes. Nice. I love that Pusheen. About an hour ago, I smelt crispy shredded chili beef that my wife made, and smelt amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I just checked we don't have any last minute stragglers. Oh, thunder! Here it is. Got one photo I captured. Jason Danny as well. Oh right, yeah. I know. He does stuff with the rotolites, right? If the red Neo 3 is distracting, blame Jason. You can dial that down a little bit, but yeah, you're right. I would just soften that hotspot there a touch, but otherwise, yeah, all good. Loving the colors there, man. Like the grades looking good. The reds you've locked in, like the reds and the blues, real nice. I think you've done a good job on the grade there, man. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, good job. Yeah, even got nice horizontals and verticals in there. Love to see it. I think that's everybody. Yeah. GG's, guys. We made it. Right. last minute promo from me. Don't forget to check out online workshops and one-to-ones online as well. Check those out. Still doing a bunch of those, which is good. Love doing those. So yeah, we've been obviously talking about a lot about the cinematic lighting. So this one is a popular one just because it just has so many new ideas in it in terms of lighting and that sort of thing. So check that one out. Obviously the regular classic color gels, long exposure, creatively simple, dealing with softer just washes of color, like these types of shots where we're talking about bathing the subject in these like pastel tones as opposed to it just being quite rigid with some of the regular gel shots, right? So yeah, this is great if you want to learn how to do softer pastel colors. Working in small spaces, it's always a good one. People working in home studios, that sort of thing. And then we got the projector workshop. How can we use something that has any color, shape, design, image we could possibly imagine? How can we incorporate that into photographs as well? So that one is a super creative workshop as well. So yeah, cool. All right, guys. I know, Jamie, right? I know. I forget. Yeah. You're lucky I keep most of the gamer words to myself. Yeah. In no worries, Miriam. Great to see you here. Yeah. Take care. Wrote like to take it over my shoot recently. Lately, a big shoot in October. Design dress. Nice. Yeah. Nice. That'd be good, man. Yeah. Good luck with that. Well, I'm sure I'll speak to you before that. So if you've got any questions or anything, fire them my way in the stream. Yeah, good. No worries, Thunder. Good to have you here, mate. David, always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. I will get you onto antique lenses one day. I can feel it. That Sony is crying out for a decent lens. I can feel it. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good one, and I shall catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.